Hey, welcome today to Fix It Warrior. Finally, the day has arrived. I have finally received my switches for my boat dash in the mail today. They're here. So what I'd like to do today is to mark out on the dash piece that I made where the switch plate's going to go, measure everything, mark it out and cut it out, and then mount the switch panel to the dash piece, and then we'll take it over to the boat and start to wire up everything. And that's the part that gets me nervous, but I made good notes and hopefully everything will go fine. So let's get started. Okay, we're really excited because we've been waiting for about 6 weeks on the switch panel. And the switch panel we're going to mount right in here. So this is the panel that came in, which looks fantastic. And I've got to cut my holes, mount that in there to where that's completely centered on that panel. So what I'm going to do first is tape it up with some blue tape all the way across here. And then I can mark out the dimensions with a marker, and then get out with, I have a little grinding wheel kind of type of deal that cuts, plastic and things, and I can cut this out and get that mounted in there. So I won't waste your time watching that part of it, but I'll show you the finished product. Okay, so I've got this cut out here, and this sits in here really nice. And it's a tight fit what I wanted it tight, and then I marked out the holes. So I'm going to go ahead and throw those, and then we can screw the panel in. So I think so far everything turned out really good. Okay, so we have the switch panel mounted. So this is going to look fantastic. So now we just have to take it out to the boat. This is the lever for the spotlight on the front. These are the ignition switches. I have to wire in these 2 gauges. You might remember that I moved those over to the right up above here. So I think we are good to go. I think this thing is ready to go and get hooked up. Yeah, so I think it looks fantastic. Okay, so one of the issues that I'm going to be having is that all of my switches sat horizontally, where in the new switch panel, they're vertically. So the problem is the configuration's different. Also, these panels here lit up the switches. The switches didn't light up, but this illuminated what they were. So I need to track this back to its source and run a wire and probably jump it to all of the switches. So I'm not an expert at this. This is not my forte, but I'm going to try to clean this all up if I can and simplify it as best I can. What I did do was I did make a schematic up from the old setup, and the newer setup is a bit different. I haven't finished that. And then also I did go online and I found some schematics of how to wire up the switches. So this is going to be a bit of a learning curve for me. So I'll keep you posted on how I'm doing with it. But right now, my main goal is I want to just clean this all up and simplify it if I can. Okay, so according to some of the wiring schematics, I'll show you right here. For instance, this one, number 8, the top left is always for the backlights. So I found in my ignition switch where that was, and I'm going to hook it in right here. So that'll tie all of them in. So I daisy chained them all on the upper left, which is terminal 8. Now what I'm going to do, terminal 7 is the black ground. So I'm going to do the same thing on terminal 7. So then everything will be, this is the brown is for the lights, the black will be the ground, And then these two right here, one of them is the hot wire from the breaker that'll go into here, and then the other one will, actually this one goes in from the breaker. This one will go out to whatever accessory that these switches represent. So this one's going to be a little bit of a trick because it's a double switch. However, I've got a good diagram that can show me how to do it. So I'm making my own deal here, but save me some money, but it's fun. So hopefully it'll help simplify my wiring in my dash. I can eliminate a lot of things. I had switches that had 3 or 4 black wires coming out of one, and this way I'm hooking up one wire for the lights, one wire for the ground, and then the rest of them will go right to the breakers, which are already clear. As far as you find the breaker, you can tell what color wire goes where. So hopefully this is going to work. Okay, so I now have the ground wire right here, and I've put these in the proper location. This is the 7 terminal, and this is the 9 terminal down here. So this one, because I have a, when you push it up, it does the nav. When you push it back, it does the transom or the anchor lights. So you have to jump it so you have lights on both. So other than that, it went together really good. So now I think all I do is go back, eliminate the blacks that were jumped together in the old wiring configuration, and then just put in my hots from the battery out to whatever accessory these represent. So hopefully it'll clean up the wiring in the boat. So far I'm happy with the progress. So I've been in the dash. I ripped out a bunch of wires that really didn't need to be there. And so I'm getting there. I'm still having to track down some of the negative grounds, make sure that everything's hooked up right. But I think I got the switch layout streamlined. So I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so you can see everything has a purpose. And I believe, I haven't turned the battery on yet, but I believe that everything is hooked up right there. But there were some extra blacks that I just need to figure out where they go and if they should be tied together or not to complete the circuit. So I'm not a great electrician when it comes to this. I'm learning, but I think I'm figuring it out. So let me work on it a little bit more and I'll show you, hopefully, the finished product. Okay, I've spent about 2 days on a particular issue that's been driving me a little crazy. So this right here is what they call the anchor light, but this is the light at the very top of your boat. And this switch is a 10 terminal switch. So when you press it on, that's supposed to come on, and the red and green lights on the front, the navigational lights. When you off is in the middle, and then this is the bottom anchor light, which only that should be on. I could not get it to work, and it was doing crazy weird things. When I would turn this on, the wiper light would come on. I couldn't get anything to work, and so I snipped the wires. This light mounts on the very top of my radar arch. So I ended up snipping it because I had a feeling that there was a break in the wire, and I jumped the wires on the dash, and sure enough, it works fine. I got to notice, I've already pushed these through, sorry, but where the wires go through this hole, it had worn away the plastic covering and they were shorting out on the radar arch. That's what was going on. So I am going to take an electrician snake it through that hole and run new wires down the radar arch, and then it jumps into the engine compartment right on the end right there. So it's going to take me a few minutes. I won't bore you with it, but once I get the electrician snake through, then I'll tape my 2 wires up and pull them back through, and then somehow I'll come up with a way to where that doesn't happen again. I might put some sort of protective housing around the wire or something. So I imagine that's been there since the boat was new. So I'm gonna get that fixed. But other than that, I only have two things that don't work out of the whole switch panel. The horn doesn't work, and I'm thinking that the horn might be bad right there because it was giving me a little trouble last year. So I will make sure I have power going to that. And then the wipers don't work. I have never used the wipers. It could be the motor. Again, I will do a power check and make sure that I have power going to the motor. And if I do, then I know the motor's bad. They're not that expensive to change. But other than that, everything else on the switch panel works. So I'm real close to buttoning this up. And this was a 2-day deal trying to it was driving me crazy. Again, I'm not an electrician, so I'm trying to research all I can. I had wiring diagrams that I was following to the T, and it still wasn't working. I was going crazy. So let me get these wires pulled through the radar arch and get it hooked up, and I think that's going to be all I do today. It's starting to get late. Okay, red and black are taped, and I'm going to try to pull this back through. Got to take my time because there's a lot of wires, as you can see, running down in there. And then when I get it run all the way, I'm gonna then feed it into here, and then that'll go right up underneath my dash, and I'll have new wires. Okay, so we're gonna start to pull. So I'm gonna have to go back and forth a few times to get it started. Okay, so I have the wire pulled through, which is good news. Now I'll go down to the other end, and I will pull that into the engine compartment. I'll push it through that hole and pull it in there. So we're making good time. Well, good news. We're finally done with the boat dash project here. And I'm gonna show you how good this turned out. And then in just a little while, when it gets to be dusk, you can see how everything is illuminated. So let's take a look at the finished project. So this is the project here, completed. I think it turned out absolutely amazing. What do you think? It just looks so good. Like I said before, this was the only gauge that I couldn't get in white just yet. The manufacturer was redesigning them. That should be out here soon. So as soon as that comes in, I'll change that. But everything else checks out, works great. So I had a little bit of issues with a couple of the switches, but I found out that it really wasn't the wiring, it was more of the unit. So for instance, my horn that was up here was bad. I was getting power to the horn, so I know that that's bad. I already ordered one that should be in on Monday, this coming Monday, so I'll replace that. And then the wiper motor, I'm getting power to it. And again, I've never used the wiper on this, but I'll go ahead and replace that. That'll be an easy fix. But other than that, everything works. Everything works great. So happy with this. And I appreciate you guys just being along with me on this journey. It's been a little bit of a challenge at times, but in the end, I just think it looks like a brand new boat. So let's wait until dusk and I'll show you what everything looks like illuminated. And I think you're going to be really happy. Okay, so I'll see if it's dark enough right now. I'm going to turn on the key and you should get all the back lights. So you see everything lights up really nice. The gauges are all lit, which I know it's not real dark, but yeah, you can kind of see everything looks great. Everything is works on here. Blower, cockpit lights. So everything works. I'm really happy with everything. It really turned out nice. So I want to just thank you for again following me on this project. This was a little bit out of my realm of expertise, but I was able to do it, and I know that you can do it too. Just take your time, do a lot of research. YouTube and Google are great tools, but it really wasn't that bad. And I mean, the thing just turned out really nice. So, hey, God bless you. I hope you have a great day, and thank you for supporting this channel and watching these projects. I just hope that they're encouraging you
and giving you some confidence to take on things that maybe you wouldn't normally take on. So have a great day, and thank you for watching Fix It Warrior.